I know, chasing that dough, hitting that road, getting that money, man. All I know, loading that foe, kicking down doors, getting that money, man. We gon' make it money. We gon' take it grizzly. We gon' make it money. We gon' take it grizzly.
The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is who had the better victory over Porter. Was it Errol Spence Jr. or Terence Bud Crawford? I'm going to turn it over to Trill Dollar Bill. Oh, wait, before I turn over to Trill Dollar Bill, I do have some things I want to show. So, bear with me a second. Here we go. So, here is what happened when Shawn Porter fought Errol Spence. Take a look. You see Spence drops him with one punch, left hook. And you see Shawn Porter getting up. He's yelling out, "Let's go. Let's go." He's ready to return. What Terence Crawford, as you can see, let me just
yeah, that was kept.
As you can see, he comes in, he gets caught with a one punch uppercut, and he's down and he gets up. He got dropped again, and then his dad, Kenny Porter, stops the fight. So I'm gonna turn it over to you, Trill Dollar Bill. Who do you think had the better victory over Shawn Porter? Was it Errol Spence Jr. or Terence Bud Crawford?
That's kind of hard for me. But I watched the TC. I was watching a lot of film. That's why I say he needed to watch out for that uppercut. TC got the stoppage. So to a lot of people that would excite him. But I just it was just a different Shawn that I thought that was fighting Spence, you know. But I really can't say. I really can't say. They both got the dubs, and it's weird. Boxing's weird, man. I mean, and everybody fights people differently, man. You know, styles make fights. You know what I'm saying? And every fight is different. To me, I like certain wins better. I like the win from Spence, but I thought Crawford, how he turned on was dope. I just like the Spence victory personally. You know, no knock against Crawford. I just like that fight a little bit better. I was saying that even if you look at no excuses, but I just me personally, I'm not going to keep going on and on about it. Me personally, I like the Spence victory just a little bit better. It was Kenny ruined it for me. I'm going to follow the bouncing ball. We're going to get into that later, but Kenny really ruined it for me, and I'm gonna express my I'm saving all I got.
I'm with you, Trill. I'm the same way. Trust
me. I'm turn over to you, Conspiracy G.
I'll say I got to give it to TC, and the reason why is because it came out of Shawn's mouth himself after the fight. He was like, "Yo, I've never been hit like that before," you know. So to me, although like I remember Porter gave Spence everything, he also did the same thing to TC, you know. But the difference is when TC felt like, all right, you know, like this ain't going the way I want it, he started to turn up them punches, you know. Like Spence, he's like bigger and he could bully a person in the ring, but I don't feel like Spence was punching as hard as TC was when he was landing on Porter. Porter was feeling those shots, you know, and I got, you know, obviously we got some issues with my man Kenny Porter with his muscle shirt, but nonetheless, I'm looking at his son, and his son isn't really fighting him. So that tells me, damn, maybe TC was really putting them paws on this kid, you know. So I have to give the victory, the better victory to TC over Spence because of those reasons.
All right, Ned the TBE.
Man, it's a draw. It's a draw. You know, Spence beat the brakes off Porter, and it was respectable. And what TC did was respectable as well. I'm not gonna sit here and compare the two. And I thought the fight could have. Porter got up both times. He got knocked down. He got up both times. He was frustrated, and both when he got all three times. When you look at all three knockdowns, when he was against Spence, he was frustrated. Was against TC, he was frustrated. He was hitting the mat and everything. He was like, I'm not losing it. I just slipped up. But when the towel got thrown in, it got me. It boiled my blood because it was like, yes, if you knew you were gonna retire after this fight, go out on your shield. Like go out on something. Like go out on your like don't let your dad dictate the fight, man. And I'm tired of these fathers dictating the fight.
Oh, they follow the trainer, dog. That's the coach, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like he's supposed
Man, listen. I just feel like it just takes the element away from the sport. When a fighter's talking, then soon after, all the dad steps in and speaks for their child. But at the end, if you daddy's boy, you daddy's boy, and I can't hate on that. It's good to have a father in your life, yo. But that's all. That's all.
I think they both did a good job, and I think they both showed that they're just a step above Shawn Porter. But after Errol Spence fought Shawn Porter, and you can review the tapes, I think many of us said we had Porter winning until Errol Spence dropped him. And that's when Errol Spence took the advantage. And I feel the same about Terence Crawford. I had Shawn Porter winning until he dropped him. And we all know that Shawn Porter he has a difficult style. It presents a certain set of problems, even for really good boxers like Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. Still to this day, no one can say that they handled Shawn Porter easily, not even Terence Crawford. So anyone trying to act like they watched that fight and they would come and they knew, nah, bro, Porter was in that fight. In my opinion, he was winning that fight. I'm not the only one. Even Andre Ward and several other people felt like Porter was winning that fight until he got stopped. So don't sit around and act like TC washed him, because it didn't happen. And likewise, Errol Spence didn't wash him. If you ask me, Errol Spence did it first, and I always give credence to the person who did it first. So, for example, Anthony Joshua beat Dominique Brazil, and he stopped him in, I believe, like the 7th round when Dominique Brazil was undefeated and still had like this belief in himself. And by the time Dominique Brazil got in the ring with Deontay Wilder just sparked him out with a magnificent one-punch knockout. Which knockout was more impressive? Deontay Wilder's. Which knockout was more exciting? Deontay Wilder's. But who do I think had the more impressive victory? I think Anthony Joshua did, because you have to look at the Dominique Brazil he got. He got a confident Dominique Brazil that didn't know how to lose in comparison to the Dominique Brazil that Deontay Wilder got. Now look at the Shawn Porter that TC got in comparison to the Shawn Porter that Errol Spence got. You see, for me, I think Errol Spence beat the better version of Shawn Porter, the hungrier version of Shawn Porter. And I think Terence Crawford beat the tail end of his career, Shawn Porter. The Shawn Porter considering retirement, Shawn Porter. That's the guy who TC got. So who do I think had the better victory? I think that Errol Spence had the better victory. I think Errol Spence beat the better version. I think Errol Spence beat a version of Shawn Porter who was still extremely confident and really thought he had a chance to win. I'm not saying Shawn Porter didn't believe he had a chance to win, but when you look at how quickly Kenny Porter threw in the towel, when you look at certain things, I just feel like it was Shawn Porter, and Shawn Porter gave a good account of himself, but he wasn't. He came there with war. He came there as a tribute to Marvelous Marvin Hagler, and he had war, and it was war. The way how quickly they threw in the towel, that was not a war. That was a tug of war, but it wasn't an actual war. You know what I'm saying? You want to talk about war? Look at the way my man Hassan Ndom went out. Look at how he went out. He wasn't even fighting for what Shawn Porter was fighting for. But look at the punishment that man was willing to take, just for his name's sake, just for his pride's sake, just so he can sleep at night's sake. That's war. Shawn Porter came out with all that, but I didn't see it towards the end when things got thick. I saw, the towel get waved and the fight got stopped real quick. So for me, who had the better victory? Errol Spence. And for those people who act like, for some odd reason, that I grade TC differently, you can check the tape. I was very consistent about this, going all the way back then. And I've always stated, and my bros can tell you, for me, the most impressive is the person who did it first. It's harder to do it first. So had the roles been reversed, same fight, same set of circumstances, I would be making the same argument in favor of the person who did it first. Just so happens the person who did it first was Errol Spence. So for me, Errol Spence.
Let us know how you feel in the comment section. I'm sure you will. Please check us out on Instagram and Twitter, and also check out our podcast on all major streaming services. You know who we are. We the Boxing Bros.